Greetings, everybody. So, we're going to do a quick live, or actually, I can't say quick because sometimes my messages can go on and on, depending on the flow and the energy. Okay, so I do plan on reading, but sometimes my messages, we might not have to. We'll see what messages want to come through. Once I'm finishing sharing what I was given. So this might be a message of confirmation for someone. I'm trying to adjust the camera. There we go. This might be a message of confirmation for someone watching, or maybe further revelation or just understanding, maybe for some of you. So good morning, or I should say good day. Greetings, everybody that's watching. It might be early where you're at, or it could be late where you're at, depending on whenever you watch this. It's actually 7 a.m. where I'm at right now, 7:02 a.m. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get into this message. Now, I do have my notes, as I always do, points of reference. Some of you guys may have been seeing some of the same synchronicities that I written down. So, yeah, just going to share with you guys the message. So what I was getting, there's some type of big opportunities coming, okay, or that you're being prepped for, okay? So I'm going to get into the message. Angel number 211 came to me last night and this morning, actually. So it's a funny story. There's something with roosters. I'm going to get into the symbolism of why the rooster is significant with this message. But last night I had sushi, and in the delivery they give you, like, the soy sauce and all of that, and then they give you sriracha. I think it's pronounced sriracha sauce, whatever. And everybody knows that it has a rooster as the logo on the sriracha sauce, whatever. And I turned it over, and the packaging label was number 211. And then maybe shortly, like early, like wee hours of the morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm still up. But I look at my phone and I see the number 211 on my phone. So there's that. If you add up the number 211, it's actually 4. So 4 is also significant, but I looked up the meaning of 211. So it represents endings, or ending of difficult things into new beginnings, a new purpose, a new mindset, mastery, awakening, soul purpose. There's a famous, or popular, I should say popular website that people go to. I think it's called Angel Scribes or something like that, angelscribes.com. And I screenshotted the meaning from there as well. So 211, it says a message not to be hindered by old patterns, habits that are in need of change. It asks you to look upon new experiences with optimism, and they will bring you about positive effects and favorable opportunities. It also helps with achieving your goals and aspirations, and allows for the old to be replaced with the new. This is a message to pay attention to your reoccurring thoughts about yourself and your life. Your thoughts and beliefs are manifesting at a rapid rate. Therefore, ensure that you focus on your desired outcomes only. When you hold positive thoughts and optimistic outlooks and high expectations, you receive wonderful opportunities and experiences in your life. The angel number 211 is a message from the angels that you are on the divine life path, or on your divine life path, and you are going in the right direction. Have faith and trust that wonderful opportunities will lead to happiness and personal fulfillment for you. Your angels encourage you. Okay, so that was 211. That keeps coming to me. So I don't know if anybody's seeing 211s, or like it could be 239, it could be 247 because that's technically still 211. But when you single it into one digit, you get 4. So 4 is the number of the angels or the archangels. It represents power, it represents strength, authority, foundation, stability, preparation, plans, ambition. And I also associate that number with the Emperor card in the tarot. Okay. So I'm going to this dream that I had, and it's funny because I couldn't decode it right away. It didn't make sense until I told a couple of my sisters, and they kind of helped me to break it down a little bit, and then I went my own into my own, and then decoded it even further. And it kind of goes along with a message that I've been hearing often, and some others that I'm connected to, they hear it for themselves as well. There's some type of big opportunities or doors opening, and this has something to do with your life purpose, okay? So keep that in mind. So this dream I had, I'm gonna like skip it because there was a lot of details in this dream. Basically, in the dream I had, there was at least 3 significant, I would say maybe 4 significant characters in the dream. In the dream, I was walking across, I was going, you know how you cross the street and it's like a stoplight and all of that. I was crossing the street on foot with a group of people, and it was a girl that came out of nowhere. And this girl, she was nicely dressed. It was like casual, but she still looked nice. Her makeup was done really nice and stuff. Her hair was done, so she looked nice. In that dream, I was stressing out about how I looked because I was like, I had dusty shoes. Literally, the shoes looked like I was kicking dust. Like I had sandals on, my feet was ashy and everything. And I was feeling embarrassed, so I was like trying to clean the dirt off my shoes before I got to the crosswalk. And so as I was picking up to leave and follow someone out the door, and go to the crosswalk, I was shuffling my feet. Like my shoes weren't on all the way still. So this girl came out of nowhere, and it's 7-Eleven on the timestamp when I said that. This girl out of nowhere came, and she was helping me walk across the street. And you know the little warnings like to stop, walk, or hurry up and cross the street, or stop walking if you're on the opposite side and you haven't gotten in the street, like stop, don't walk because the light's about to change. So she was helping me get across the street. So we end up walking into a movie theater, and the movie theater is really, really big. And I guess it has like studios, like different studios in it or something, not just movie theaters or whatever. So we walk into the big movie theater, and the girl was like she was in a rush. She was like, I gotta hurry up. I have a radio show that I gotta do. I gotta leave. I gotta go, blah, blah, blah. And it was like she was trying to encourage me to go with her. And I was like, no, I'm thinking to myself, like, I look crazy. I'm not gonna go in there like this. And she was like, I'm doing this. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't remember everything she was saying, like what the radio show was, but she was saying, like, I have to hurry up. And I was like, okay, thinking to myself, like, I don't know if I can trust this girl. I just met her. I don't know what her deal is. I was feeling weird. And then she was like, just come on. So Seven told me, just go. So we walk into the studio area, and it actually looks like not an auditorium, but I don't know if anybody's ever taken like choir in school, like high school or maybe junior high, like a music class or band. And now they have the classroom set up with like chairs in a row, different chairs in these rows. And it kind of looks like that, like a big classroom, or kind of, yeah, it looks like a big classroom, like a music class, kind of. I go in there, and I see a famous face. She greets me. She says hello politely, and I nod my head like hello and greet her and walk past. And I have a seat next to her husband, and I sit next to him, but I couldn't sit down. Like for whatever reason, like there was a hesitation. Like I couldn't get myself into the seat. Like it was so weird. Like I was hella awkward, hella clumsy. I don't know what that part of the dream meant, but I was like very uncomfortable. Like I felt weird, like embarrassed kind of. And the seats kind of look like classroom seats. Again, if you guys know how like in school you have a desk that's connected to your seat, like in high school or whatever, maybe junior high too. So I finally sit down in my seat, and there was like a couple of people trying to come into that room, and they were like, there's no more seats left, because me and the girl that the girl that took me there, we took the last seats or whatever. So there's no more seats. So keep that in mind. I'm going to get into the symbolism of that. But so I sit down, and the famous woman that greets me when I walk into the door, her husband sitting next to me, and he compliments me on my braids. So in the dream, my hair is not like this right now, but in the dream, my hair was like braided up in like a cornrow ponytail type style. And then it had like some type of curly, almost like a mohawk type look. And he was like, I like your hair. And I said, thank you. And then he asked me, was it mine? And I was like, no, they're extensions. And then I was like, I don't know what this hairstyle is called, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, back in the day, we would call that the woodpecker. So mind you, woodpecker stood out to me because I don't know what that's about. Whatever. And woodpeckers, I kept that in mind. So when I looked up what woodpecker means, it says to pay attention. There is a new opportunity knocking at your door. Take time to listen to your thoughts and your feelings. Sounds similar to 211, the meaning of 211. Also, the woodpecker symbolism is also letting you know that it's time to pay attention because an opportunity has come knocking along with it. The woodpecker also signifies that significant changes are happening in your life. It's up to you to seize the moment, whether it's the renewal of an old project, the finishing of a new project, or a serendipitous meeting with someone in your life. Get busy. Whatever way you perceive it, this spirit animal insists that you must understand that the door is wide open for you right now and that success is yours for the asking. And that's from spiritanimals.com, where I found that from. So all of the synchronicities line up to what the message is. I tried to figure out, because the couple stood out to me in the reading. I was like, what's the point of showing me those two people? And so like I looked up their birth charts. I found similarities in the birth chart, like Virgo and Libra was significant. The number 5 was significant, and something with rooster was significant. And I thought that was weird because roosters look like they have mohawks. So the woodpecker has like a mohawk hairstyle, and so does the rooster. So I'm like, okay, there's something with that too. So I noted that. So the rooster is very significant. Anyway, long story short, so the angel number 5, I was led to look up, and we all know famously the number 5 represents change or an opportunity for major change. So people with the life path 5, I looked that up, what type of character or energy life path 5 people have. It says that they're spontaneous, they love the adrenaline rush of the blind challenges coming their way, they're wanderers and they're wanderers and not mere travelers. They are consistently on the move, exploring and visiting new places and opportunities. That word keeps coming out, opportunities. And then Virgo and Libra energy that came out in their chart commonly. Hence, we're in Virgo season as I'm recording this. If you're watching this sometime after, take it as it resonates with you. So Virgo representing the house of health, service, and hard work. Libra being the house of cooperation, contracts, and partnerships. So it could be something with collabs, or it's like multiple people connected to something, because that room was full of people. All the faces in the room, I didn't get to see who was all in there, except for just those 2 that stood out in my dream. The girl that helped me across the street, I don't know who this is in the waking life. It was just a character in my dream. But so the rooster part of it. So when you look at what roosters mean, well, let's say the roosters in Chinese zodiac, because those 2 people had the Chinese zodiac of the rooster. Those people are typically known to be talented, popular, resourceful, hardworking, talkative, well-dressed people, honest, sociable, observant, and outspoken people. So the rooster symbolism is quite similar as well. Like if you look up the animal meaning of a rooster, pride comes up, bravery, strength, power, leadership, self-confidence, passionate, enthusiasm, in prosperity, career, fortune, raise and authority, influential presence, intimidating, alert, observant, and carefulness. So that girl in the dream symbolizes being at the crossroads. But what I took from that is like being assisted and guided to the other side of wherever you're being led at this time, and you're being led to be ready, be prepared. That's another message that keeps coming up. I've been hearing that for maybe like a year or two now. Stay ready. That's like a common phrase that I keep hearing, or stay ready so that you don't have to get ready or something like that. Like that's something that's been coming to me. So that might resonate with you. You're being prepared now for whatever this is. And like whoever I'm speaking to, this is something that is not just life-changing for you, but it's going to be significant and influential for others. And I feel like you're being assisted, you're being helped. So I'm getting also too that some of you are healing right now, or you have healed certain things, or you are encouraged to heal and address inadequacies. So the dream, the part of my dream where I felt like bummy, like, oh, I can't go in here looking like that. Like I felt really like unprepared almost, like, but I'm worried about my appearance, not focusing on, and I feel like, yeah, you gotta dress the part as they say, but in the dream, it was a heavy emphasis. If you look at the traits of a woodpecker, as I read it, and the rooster, it's about confidence, bravery, and being observant. It's not about the external. So Spirit is saying like the inside aspects of self is being worked on and has been worked on. So specifically like self-confidence issues, maybe abandonment issues, like, oh, I don't belong here, I don't fit, self-doubt, which manifests into self-sabotage. So if we're carrying we're self-conscious, we're questioning whether we deserve to be where we're at and all of that, you're going to naturally, consciously even self-sabotage, and maybe even purposefully self-sabotage yourself. So this is why Spirit is saying, like, prepare by doing the internal work, or continue to do the internal work. So there's an opportunity that you're being prepared for. So when it comes, you might not think that you're ready. You might not think that you're prepared, or that you look the part, or, again, God was emphasizing that it's not about the outer appearance. Like, it has nothing to do with that. For some of you, let's say you're a singer or something, and someone asks you to sing on the spot, and you're like, oh, well, shit, I forgot my tape. Oh, I don't have my whatever, my instrumental, or I don't have whatever the excuse is. It's like, you got to be ready, like, regardless, or you should have had that prepared. Like, and I seen something else where it was like one of those prophetic word videos that I was guided to watch. She did mention that be prepared, because she said she was at Walmart, and the lady at Walmart was checking her out, and she said, hey, you from YouTube, right? And she was like, yeah, I have a YouTube. And so she wasn't thinking that ain't nobody gonna recognize me. Like, I just put out videos and messages and stuff. You never know. You want to be prepared and you want to be ready. Not saying that you have to be self-conscious. Again, do the internal work first. But yeah, it might come at a time where you're not thinking that you're ready. But you got to be mentally more so. Spirit is saying you have to be more so mentally, emotionally, and spiritually ready for whatever this is, because there is a divine appointed time. Like, everything's already divinely scheduled. So the stay ready so you don't have to get ready keeps coming up for a reason. So the word appointed kept coming to me. So the word appointed, by definition, it means of a time or place, decided or beforehand designated, scheduled, arranged, or prearranged. Appointed meaning in the Bible, ironically, it came up. Google, I guess, is familiar with my searches, like what type of things I like to search. I'm a Bible decoder all day. Like, I decode the Bible. I like doing it. You don't have to identify with Christianity or anything. I just like to decode the Bible. I resonate with it. But I noticed that when I looked what the appointed definition in the Bible meant, Esther was one of the scriptures, and I did a video on on Esther's story. If you guys don't remember Esther was a Jewish woman that was divinely appointed to be placed into the position as the Queen of Persia. She was a Jewish woman, and she had to cloak her real name and pose her name as Esther. That's not a Hebrew name. So she had to present herself as Esther. Once you won over the favor of the king of Persia, which was looking for a wife, she used her position later on to save her nation of people because they were going to be murdered. So she used her divine position to help others, and that's what Spirit is emphasizing for you. This has nothing, I'll get into it, but this isn't just about self. Okay. Anyway, so the appointed means to be in the office or in order to function fully and accomplish a task. Okay. So the word designate, I felt led to look that word up as well. It means to appoint someone to a specified position. Okay. So Spirit is going to test people in their strength. When I say strength, not physical strength, but more of emotional strength and mental strength, and courage and their confidence within themselves. And confidence is not about the external things, how you look, how much you have, whatever. It's trusting. It's a confidence that you have in knowing who you are and what you're called for. That type of, it's a spiritual confidence. So you're stepping into authority positions for a lot of you, and you will be connecting with other people who are also in authority positions. But with that, is Spirit is saying you have to stand firm in who you are and what you're called to be, because it's easy to get swayed. When I was in the dream, I looked up what compliments mean in a dream. When you receive compliments, it means to be aware of sweet talking, be aware of smooth talk. So when you get in these positions, you're going to have people that's going to persuade you and like try to, see how far you go and test you. You got to stand firm. No one can take or give you anything that God has not already appointed you to or called you to. So you're not going to lack or miss out on anything if you don't go with that. You know what I mean? So whatever this is that you're being called to, again, the rooster, biblically, at least, the symbolism is light and resurrection. So you guys have to go through certain things. It's kind of like you're in the military. Like you go through these extensive processes and process of discipline and tests and your abilities, and if you're ready for the battle, if you're ready for war, basically. Not saying that it's war per se, but just using that as an example. With anything, whether you're a trained soccer player, a boxer, whatever, you train yourself, and it's exercising your gifts, your muscles, and it's painful in the process because it requires endurance, it requires strength, and then on top of that, believing in yourself. Let's say you are trained to be a boxer and you have your first fight, and let's say you lose the fight, you don't win that night. It's a push to keep persevering and persevering and persevering and not seeing yourself as a failure. You do it until you master that skill, if that makes sense. So the rooster also represents a winner and the authority aspect. It shows how leadership qualities can influence from person to person. So again, you're being put in a place of being a person of influence, a positive influence. You're going to be put in spaces to utilize you being used in a positive way, of course, being divinely used to be a point of influence from person to person. So it's also connection. It talks about the rainbow and the covenant and promises of God, and the rainbow keeps coming up. Rainbow imagery, rainbow symbolisms keep coming up. Metatron's rainbow bridge, one of my sisters mentioned that, and Metatron has been coming up as well. I don't know if any of you guys have been feeling like connected to Archangel Metatron, or maybe that's your main archangel that you work with or you walk with. But yeah, this is divine opportunity, and that rainbow energy, it represents the end of a dark period for you into the opposite side of the bridge, which is the purification. This is the end, or the light at the tunnel, the end of the tunnel. So if you think of a rainbow, rainbows only come after a storm, after a rain, right? And when you see it, it's that promise, it's that covenant between heaven and earth, that connection between you and the divine. And it's promised that even when you grow through things and you go through, when I look at rain, I think of purification. So it's cleansing the earth, it's watering the earth, it's cleansing things out. So this is a a symbol for your purification. You're still growing through things. Again, you can't be put in positions that you're not ready for, especially if it's divinely called for you. Like, yeah, anybody can be put in a certain leadership position and they may not be equipped for it, and they get put in that position and they start exercising their authority in a way that's very egotistical, and they start feeling themselves, and let's say they didn't do their work. They don't have enough job experience to even be a supervisor, but they're in a supervisor position and they're utilizing it to take breaks whenever they want to. Or if there's somebody that they're is on their team that's under them, if they don't like them, let's say they give them bad ratings on their phone calls or whatever, like, you got to think of it that way. Or someone that's heavily insecure in their capabilities, they might fail on the job. You know what I mean? They don't have the position, the leadership skills to handle it. So that's why Spirit is saying that whatever is a block to you is being dealt with right now, or you have been thus far healing through those things. So you're being stretched. So either you have been stretched of something, or you're currently still being stretched, or you're going to be stretched to overcome your limitations. You can't have any limits over this, or over you, or in front of you. Anything that prevents that flow to your appointed success, it has to go. So speaking of success, I was led to look up the Hebrew translation of what success or prospering means. So if you look at certain Bibles, they've taken the original word out and they've replaced it with prosper. But and I'm gonna have a hard time pronouncing this word, but I think it's tisak, something like that. I suck at pronunciation, don't laugh at me, but it's T-S-A-L-A-C-H, and it might be spelled differently. There's some different spellings of it, but basically what it means is prosperity and success, and to go forward in power. So it's all about, that word is about to be pushed forward, to break out, to advance, to make progress, to be profitable, to go over, to be good, or to be met. So that word success and prosper, it's like that push, that divine push, that energy to break you out of your limitations and advance forward spiritually, because you've been called to that, right? So you have to be ready to be in these spaces, in these locations, and they're not going to be in your comfort. Like, it's going to be, let's say for instance, you have no actual job experience in, I don't know, I'm going to use music because I was in a studio, like not like a recording studio, it was like a radio studio, but I'm assuming that these people that were in the room had to have been entertainers or musicians or something. I don't know. At least the two that talked to me were. So when I got in there, I couldn't see the faces, but it was a room full of people. So let's say you're put amongst people that are well seasoned in something that you feel like, okay, well, I'm not that good at, or I'm not that seasoned in. I'm sitting amongst these people. Why am I, like, what am I doing here? Like, it doesn't make sense. Maybe it does for some of you, but let's just say that you are going to be put in places that you feel like are kind of uncomfortable. It's new for you. You're put in a place that you're being put in a place that is a new territory. For some of you, it's going to require travel. It's going to be like you being away from home, or people that speak a different language than you. And it's going to be uncomfortable at first for some of you. But that's not for you to feel like you don't belong, because that's okay. The chair thing with no more seats left, that I was supposed to be there. So the people that came in after me, there was no seats left for them. So I was supposed to be in that room. So whoever feels like, okay, why am I here? It's because you were divinely positioned to be there. Just like Esther, the story of Esther. She was a Jewish woman going into a palace of Persians, a nation of Persians, and maidens that were looking to be the next queen of Persia. Technically, if you look at it, she wasn't supposed to be there. That's not her culture. But God appointed her to be in there, if that makes sense. So just to be clear, like, it's because they're looking for you. Like, you are supposed to be there, if that makes sense. And I keep hearing this similar saying where people are saying things like your name is being mentioned in rooms that you haven't yet stepped foot into. So some of you guys, it's like you might already be being watched for something already, like a job or a position, or you're already being looked at, whether you realize it or not. Or someone close to you might have put you on to somebody and they're watching you, like, have you in mind. One of my sisters was telling me about her situation. I don't want to get like, because that's her personal thing and I don't want to add other people's energy into that, so I'm gonna cloak it and protect it for her. But basically it was like people looking and watching, like checking for you. So one thing that Spirit wanted to make really, really, really clear is to watch the ego and be very mindful not to get cocky. There's no room for cockiness, and being big-headed. The type of leadership that you're being called into, you have to remain humble. You have to remain in integrity and mindfulness and observation, because if you're being put in a position of this authority and influence, there's people that are watching that you're meant to influence and assist and help until they get to their point where, okay, they step into their leadership positions, their callings, their purposes. So there's no room for you to get cocky, because this isn't about you. So Spirit is saying that what's going to separate you amongst the other people in power, because some of them, they do utilize their authority for bad. You're coming in to shift that. Like, you're here to change the game. So to separate yourself from them, you're not supposed to come in there cocky and bold and thinking you the shit. That's not what this is about. And thinking you the shit is different from you having, authentic confidence. I'm not saying that. But your influence is for the people, okay? It's not about you per se. It's for the people at the end of the day. So again, Spirit's also testing us and trusting our spiritual awarenesses and dealing with enemies and trusting. So you have to know how to discern what's for you, what's not for you, who's for you and who's not for you, and working through trust, because you got to trust yourself when you step into these doors. You really got to trust yourself and trust that inner guidance in you, that inner compass, and not be swayed by certain things, if that makes sense. One thing about the rooster too, I think it's in Japanese culture, I might be wrong, but some cultures, they look at the rooster as a sacred bird. And if they're loose, let's say they're loose in a sacred temple or church or something, they'll let them roam around because they see them as a sign of reverence. Or when they crow, they see them as a sign to pray. But I also feel like too, they're a wake up call. So when you think of crows in the morning, you think of them as an alarm clock, like a nature's nature's alarm clock, if not the sun. And that's why they identify the rooster as light and resurrection, because it's like the sun, the rising of the sun. So it's a divine wake up call. So if you're seeing roosters around this time, or you have been, it's most likely that's what it means. But it's telling you to also to be prepared to step into that power, that authority that you've been called into, if that makes sense. But also too, it's a call to let go of whatever the blockages are that's in front of you or in your life right now. Any ill set ways or any toxic patterns or issues that you have within self, or any, like, again, self-confidence, inadequacies, opinions of others. Because, and me and my other sister, we had this discussion about this yesterday, where a man, let's say for a woman, like, women get flattered by compliments. And if it's a woman that has very low self-esteem, she'll be very, very flattered by everything every man says, and she'll start looking for that validation to be emotionally, as my sister was saying, is emotionally fed, which is true. Women that constantly want to be validated, they'll seek that male attention and approval, and they'll start doing, things to get it, low things for that attention. But if you are, let's say, a woman, and I'm just speaking just as an example, I'm not saying that this is a message only for women or it's about that type of thing. But just as an example, a person that lacks in confidence, they'll be very easily persuaded by things because they're looking for validation. And you can't have that because you're going to be presented with things. I'll get to that in a minute. But as far as like a woman that has confidence, a man or whoever can tell her that she's beautiful and blah, 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 compliment her on what she's wearing or her smile or her personality, whatever, and be genuinely, what's the right word? Accepting of that, embracive of it, appreciative of what they have to say without, you know, getting kind of caught up in something and then be like, oh, well, let me invite this person into my life because just because their compliment might be genuine, let's say their intentions for giving you that genuine compliment was off. Their intentions might be to get your number, and it might be somebody that's not for your highest good. So you have to know how to be like, okay, I can take a compliment without getting engulfed in something that's not meant for me. But as far as releasing and letting go of those inner blocks that will prevent you from fully being receptive, because again, you cannot self-sabotage this. Can't. Again, because it's not just about you, it's for others, and you have other people that are divinely connected to you that's going to be involved in this, and you can't afford to self-sabotage or feel like, oh, I can't, because like you can't do that. So whatever it is that you're hiding or what's hidden that you have yet to confess or admit to with yourself, like, hey, this isn't, this part of me, like, you know, this gotta go, or I don't like it. If it is arrogance and ego, some people, God is like, I've got something for you. And there's some people that know that they're gifted. They really know that they're talented. But they can block their blessings if they get ahead of themselves or they start boasting too much. It's like, no, you have to be consecrated of all that blocks you, in which you're meant to advance and prosper and succeed in divinely. Because what you're doing is also profitable, not just for the divine shift that it causes and the influence that it sparks in someone else, but it's also financially profitable for you. So you have to be like in the right position to handle those things. And when you do get it, those opportunities and those things, you're meant to also help others in those same positions. So Spirit is saying, don't hide or conceal those inner traumas and issues. If you've been working on them, continue to work on them. But if you know there's another layer to it, abandonment, inadequacy, whatever the layer is, deal with it up front. Because once you renounce that, you're going to find that peace and that grace to move forward from that. It removes it. It knocks it out of the way. So yeah, watch out for these false opportunities because they're going to come, or they may have been coming. I've been receiving a lot of emails for like, advertise this and do this, and we're going to send you this, and we're going to like promises, and like just getting caught up in little scams and stuff. And there's a lot of these money scams going around too, where they're emailing you, oh, I want to give you a part of my will, and blah, blah, like all of this crazy stuff going on. Do not get caught up in that stuff. But it's also showing you that the divine opportunity is close. And again, you're being tested, or I should say more so trained, to trust your instincts on this. Trust your instincts. And lastly, the rooster also represents unity and purpose. So you, again, being that lighthouse, that outspoken person, that level of influence, that high level influence that you are, you're also appointed to unify others, okay? The word joy keeps coming up. So this is something that is going to be of great pleasure and joy and happiness for you. It's something that you can rejoice in. And I keep hearing that word as well. So yeah, it's a blessing from Spirit, from God, from your spiritual team. Like, this is a part of who you are, what you've been called to. So I don't know if we even need to pull cards, but we can, I guess. We can pull some cards. So yeah. What's up, everybody, by the way? Greetings. And butterflies have been coming up a lot. Butterflies and rainbows. And it's a rebirth. It's a resurrection. It's a shift happening in your life. And whenever spirit shows me doors, whether I'm like receiving a message for someone or I'm seeing it in my dreams, doors for me are like new opportunities coming in. Some may not always be from God. Not every opportunity is from God, but these doors that I'm seeing, these are divine doors opening up. Hey, Ambi, Bianca, Laura, Brianna, hey sis. Guided intuition, hey. Hey, Tori. All right. Holy Spirit, angels, ancestors, is there any guidance that you wish to leave, impart with divine wisdom, divine truth? Yeah, get prepared. Prepare your mind, prepare your heart, prepare your steps forward. Ask Spirit to guide you and show you, like, what am I supposed to be doing at this time? Like, where do you want me to place my focus? Yeah, see. All right, you got the Ace of Wands, you have the Nine of Swords with Archangel Metatron being this is Archangel Metatron's card, being the Ace of Wands. Look. Oh my gosh. I forgot. I love that song. That's my favorite song from Jimi Hendrix, Little Wing. That's crazy. That's interesting. I didn't even think about that. So you have an amazing opportunity to be bold, courageous, and optimistic. Now is the time to take action, do what you're passionate about. Nine of Swords, unfounded fear, expecting the worst, thus creating self-fulfilling prophecies, allowing worry to grow out of proportion to the situation, sleepless nights, refocus your thoughts. So again, like redirecting the mind, or for some of you guys are feeling restless, like, what am I supposed to be doing? Blah, blah, blah. Take action doesn't necessarily have to mean the same for everyone. Like, take action sometimes is meditating. Sometimes it is taking some type of physical step or act. But again, you have to tap into that divine wisdom. You have to tap into that divine wisdom first and foremost. So if there is like these negative thoughts, these fears that Spirit is saying, there's no need for you to have those types of fears. That's something to work on and release it. Because you've been planting, like, you got to nurture this plant, this seed that you've been planting. And being the magician, you are manifesting this. You don't want to self-sabotage this, whatever this opportunity is. You do not want to self-sabotage. Shoot, light some candles if you have to. Set some intentions in the candles. Trust the universe. You got to trust the divine plan, divine order of things. You have to be courageous and brave. Some of you guys, this might be something very big. It is. It's something very big. Harmony and resolution. So if there's some type of discord, again, they're emphasizing this, like there's a need for some sort of healing, like some type of block needs to be moved, or it's going to be a breakthrough with that because you might have been working on it for quite some time. Our healing processes are never overnight things. There's layers and levels to our healing. The further we go deeper into it, then we get to the root of it. And that's usually where the breakthrough is. So when you get deeper and darker into those depths, you're going to find the root of what it is that you're healing. So this is something I feel like is more so a breakthrough, but you have to really trust the divine in this, because whatever this opportunity is, it is big, and it is something that you're really going to have to trust God on, because you can easily say, oh no, I can't, like get froze up and get scared, have a whole 8-mile rabbit moment where you just, yeah, you can't afford that. It's for y'all Eminem fans, I guess. I don't know. Let's see what's going on. Oh shit, I hit my fucking head. I just hit my whole head. That hurt. Okay. Okay, anyway, you have Kundalini number 35, which is an 8 mile. That's funny. Okay, 35, whatever. Untapped energy. Yeah, there's some things, there's still something that isn't fully being addressed. I'm getting like an emphasis on doing healing work right now, more so than anything. Like doing it, like getting down to the root of it. For real, getting to the root. A lot of you guys, it is a mental block, a mindset, a thought pattern, or a specific fear that keeps coming up. You have to deal with that. Number 47, blessings and thanks, abundance universe or abundant universe. So number 47 is 11 or technically a 2. So your harvest is on the horizon, and this is why Spirit is saying, like, you got to be in full alignment with this. Full alignment. Don't stress too much the weight of that, what that means, but just basically wherever Spirit is wanting you to be within yourself is the aim. It's not saying that you got to be this perfect person, but at least in the energy that you're called to be in for this opportunity, if that makes sense. One more card. Duality, balance is needed. Yep, 23. That's a 5. Yeah, balance is definitely needed. And energy work, if you're led to, some type of energy work could be working with candles, could be changing your diet, how you're eating, prayer, meditation, what you're guided and led to do. Either continue to do it, or if it's something that you feel like you need assistance or help with, ask Spirit to reveal to you the resolution and the solution to that. Or, okay, what is it that what is blocking me exactly? Like, or where exactly are these thoughts coming from? What can I do to work through that energy of self-sabotage? Like, where is it originating from? If you know what it's originating from, then trust that you're going to work through the process when it's time for you to. But this isn't a time to just slack off and just say fuck this, excuse my language, but just slack off and just be like, whatever, I don't care. Because if you've been feeling this energy and this resonates with you, and I would suggest, and I always do, to confirm with Spirit, God, your spiritual team, whether or not this is a message for you, because it's not meant for everyone. But if it's for you, you'll know. And this is not a easy process, overnight process, as you know. It's something that you've been leading up to. Like, this is something you're leading up to. Been going through the process and the shifts and all of that. And maybe you've been feeling this feeling for years or since you were a child, like that there's something that you're big, something big that you're called to do. But with that, it is required responsibility, especially the word authority. This isn't to, again, not trying to be repetitive, but it's important. Authority keeps coming out in the reading, in the message rather. So being in that seat, you have to be divinely led. The type of leader that you're called to do. False leaders, you see where the world is now with the leadership we got in the world. Like, you see what that's doing. It's nothing but evil shit, demonic shit, false masculinity in some. It's just, this is not a time for, it's not about self. It's not. If you're a selfish person, if you are full of yourself, or you think it's about you and you think it's about fame and all that, it's not about that at all. And if you're still called to this and you deal with those energies, you have to release it, because the desire for praise and fame and for everybody to know who you are, it comes from a place of lack, comes from a place of inadequacy, it comes from a place of needing validation. So therefore, you got to dive deep into releasing that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I hope that was helpful, whoever this was meant for. I pray that you find your divine footing in this. And yeah, this is time for preparation, but it's almost close to the opportunity. So be ready for it. Be in tune. Connect with Spirit. Connect with Spirit all the way through. You got to be in that connect. You can't do this without your spiritual team. You were called to it. So therefore, you got to stay in in that connect with God, because it is going to be things that will tempt you and try to persuade you and trick you. People, you have to just be able to discern it and see right through it. And spiritual protection as well. Spiritual discernment is definitely needed. So yeah, this is a time more so to get in alignment and in tune with yourself and where you're supposed to be, and being aware with open ears to hear exactly what that looks like or what you're supposed to be doing and how and all of that. Like being in tune, being ready, on go. Basically, that's what I'm getting. So we're going to leave it there. I hope this message was helpful. As always, much love. I'll catch you guys in the next reading, next video, next message, whatever. And until next time, peace.